Hey, how you do, buckaroos? And lunch. I'm Tom the Whiskey Whisperer. I'm going to try to build a cocktail in front of you. I've got one of my favorite ryes here. It's 100 proof. Fuck around and find out. Purpose rye from Republic Restoratives. It's 100 proof, 5-year-old rye, and it is just amazing. And I've got about 2.5 ounces already poured here. I'm going to put into my shaker. Why do I say about 2.5? Well, I poured it into 2 glasses here that both, one holds 1.25 ounces, one holds 1.5 ounces, so it's approximately 2.5. It's not quite 3, might be a little over 2.5. All right. So what I'm doing here is I'm using the Manhattan as a template, but I'm not having a Manhattan. So I've got that rye in there, and I'm going to put about 1 ounce, a little over, I guess. Pour a little more than I intended, but about 1 ounce of some Rocktown ginger liqueur. Use whatever brand you prefer. I happen to really like this one, and that's what I had on hand. And then I'm going to use some Peychaud's bitters. Peychaud's, however you decide. So what I like to do, and this is kind of a me thing, and a lot of it is just being a little bit on the OCD side, is I always put 2 dashes into the shaker, and I put 1 dash into the cocktail. So I'm going to shake that into the glass, and I'll be right back. Okay, well, as you can see out of my glass chilling, and I've got the garnish is the standard dark cherry, but I've also got some candied ginger in there because I've used that ginger liqueur. So now I'm going to strain it into the glass here. And trying real hard not to spill. There's your cocktail. And boy, that cocktail looks nice, doesn't it? Oh, I didn't do one thing that I told you I was going to do. I just realized. Let me move this real quick. Like I said, I put 2 dashes of the bitters, and I always drop 1 dash on top, no matter what bitters I'm using, to add to the aromatics. I want them to integrate in a cocktail, but I want to add that one last one. It really pulls everything out. And again, that's kind of a me thing. A lot of that's my OCD. I have to do things a very particular way every time, but man, sláinte. I love the way that ginger liqueur plays off this particular bourbon. It's a nice spicy rye. I'm sorry, rye rather, not bourbon. It's a rye, Top. I love the way that ginger liqueur plays off that rye because it is a rather spicy rye. Beautiful at that 100 proof. Adding the ginger for me kind of gives it that spring kind of feel. I love the Manhattan, but it is kind of heavy and it feels more fall winter to me. So I like to play around with that other ingredient. Sometimes I've been known to use the sweeter Blanc vermouth. But since I had that ginger liqueur, I really wanted to see how this worked. I like Rocktown Distillery too in Little Rock, Arkansas. I bought this a while back when we were out there, back in August, and I had some other whiskeys from them, but they're long gone now. But their products are very nice. This ginger liqueur is as good as it gets. But I do love this rye from Republic Restoratives. So a straight up cocktail means you want it well chilled. So you don't necessarily need a cocktail like this to be ice cold from start to finish. It might take you 15, 20 minutes to drink. Yeah, some people take longer, but I don't typically. But the trick is to do your job right. Make sure your glass is well chilled. If I'm at work, I put some ice in the glass and try to get it as cold as possible. But at home, I will put it in the freezer a few minutes before I'm going to make my cocktail, so it is nice and well chilled. Now, I hope to splice this all together. I don't guess I use that word anyway. Put this all together so you don't know, but my wife was calling, so I had to stop the video. Anyways, let me finish my cocktail with you. So this was about 2.5 ounces of the rye. About an ounce, I used a little bit over an ounce of the ginger liqueur. You can use less if you like. And then 3 total drops of, or dashes, whatever, of the bitters. I used the Peychauds. I've got several here, and I felt this is the way I wanted to go to kind of balance that ginger. Oh, mercy, that's good. That is a tasty cocktail, though. Boy, I love that ginger liqueur and how that plays with everything. Especially with that rye, you know. It may be too spicy for some. I will acknowledge that, but I love the way it all comes together. So, I'll see what other cocktails I can come up with. I'm kind of known at work as the classics guy. There's 2 of us that put together the menus and do most of the cocktails. But I will admit, I do a lot of stuff off menu, kind of off the cuff, because that's kind of what I like to do. I kind of make sure I have other ingredients. I make most of our house simple syrups, and I try to make extra of other things so I can kind of do some stuff that aren't on the menu, so my regulars know to ask. Because a lot of them will want sort of a classic, but done a little bit different. And that's kind of what I like to do. I always say when folks look at the menu, there's 2 of us that put the menu together. Everything fancy is hers. Everything with 3 ingredients is mine. So almost everything. And I've kind of leaned into it at this point. I mean, I was trying to stretch my legs for a little bit there. But now I've really leaned into it. It's almost everything I do is a derivative of a Manhattan, an old-fashioned, or a martini. I try to stay in that realm. Because even though we're only talking 3 ingredients most of the time, sometimes even less, is that you can really make a difference. It's that right blend of that 2 or 3 ingredients that really make it. In this case, I got the whiskey, the liqueur, and the bitters. And that really, really makes a nice cocktail. You don't need to be super fancy, especially with folks that really appreciate cocktails. But I will admit that I am the spirit-forward cocktail guy. I'm not about the fruity cocktails. I'm not about hiding the alcohol in cocktails. I want those true cocktail lovers that really want that spirit-forward cocktail. And that's what I've really leaned into, and that's what I enjoy doing the most. So as you saw, I had my glass very well chilled. I'm going to take my garnish out of there because that's getting in the way. I had my glass well chilled. I chilled my cocktail well. I strained it into the glass. And again, that's just doing your job as a good bartender. Make sure your drink is well chilled. Again, a cocktail like this, you're using fine ingredients, so they don't need to stay ice cold all the way through, but you want to make sure it's very cold to start with. And again, I'm a purist, so I don't like that ice cube in my glass. Even if I have an old fashioned, I will typically order it straight up. I want it chilled in a coupe or even in a rocks glass, served more like a Sazerac. I don't like that ice in there. And a lot of folks think the old fashioned, that's traditional for an old fashioned, and it really isn't. Traditionally, they were served more like a Sazerac, in that rocks glass, and in a coupe in let's just say finer establishments. Anyway, I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, whiskey evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and gosh, that really is nice. I haven't used that ginger liqueur in a while, and I forgot how much I enjoy it. But I didn't think about it at the time. If I wanted to brighten it up more for spring, I could have dropped some lemon bitters in there as well. So anyway, once again, I digress. I'm going to hit it one more time. I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, whiskey evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, all around good guys. Flaunt ya. Thank you for tuning in, folks.